Hi
Hey
guys.
guys,
Welcome back to
welcome
Mystic
back.
Mamas. We're still working on that, okay?
We're real in sync this morning. We're ready.
No, before we even hit record, we were talking about all the things we missed out because we've had family in town, and so Danielle and I haven't been able to FaceTime every day like we normally do.
Yeah, I think it's been maybe a week since our last FaceTime, but it feels like it's been a month or something. There's so much to catch up on, especially with life and whatnot. But we are really excited to be back in the studio together. I think
Yes,
it was
always.
nice to challenge ourselves alone, but I think we both missed each other.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I didn't realize how like nervous I would be without you. I feel like you're my like comfort.
Yeah.
Even when it came to like us first doing it all online, because I mean, if you guys have watched our videos, we're now online because we're not in the same city, of course. But I feel like I was initially so nervous, and then now I'm getting used to this. So then when we did like our single podcast, I was like, oh no, this ain't it. I like Danielle being here for me. I'm
Yeah.
talking way too much right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, we kept waiting. Like, is someone gonna stop me soon? No, okay,
Right.
cool. Just me.
Awkward pause.
Yeah, it was like really hard not to like do the millennial pause or ramble on and like
Gosh,
wait. Yeah, so
no.
I was gonna be back in the studio with you, and feels good to be back in the studio. Period. After all the holiday fun,
Yeah,
it's
no. Agreed.
a little bit of normalcy as we cross over to the next holiday, which is Christmas.
Yeah, I'm already stressed about
Uh,
that one.
Christmas as a mom hits different, and I
Yeah,
know
it really does.
it's even crazier for you because it's just another notch in losing your birthday.
Yeah, literally, my mom was like, "Oh, well, this year is about Harpy." I'm like, "It's never about me, so I don't know what you're talking about there, buddy." Like,
Yeah, for those of you who listen don't know, Dakota's birthday is Christmas Day, so
yes, it is. But I think I'm serious this year, upcoming year. I think I'm gonna do a half birthday because that's the only way I'm gonna get a day to celebrate me without like
yes.
chaos.
Queen, that's the energy. And honestly, that leads perfectly into what today's episode's going to be about, and that is putting your
Yes.
own oxygen mask on first.
Yes, ma'am.
Kind of going to just jump into it with you guys here with Dakota. And yeah, so today we just want to talk about and shed light that in general, and not just as a mom, but I find that it's been even more important now that I am a mother to really focus on making sure that my oxygen mask is on first, that
Hmm.
I and my needs are taken care of so that the rest of the needs of the world can be taken care of.
Of the world.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But truthfully, like, it's just about, I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why they make you do that whenever you're going down an airplane, because you have to be taken care of to help others. And that's where we're at. That's what this episode is going to be about. And just like learning how to do that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like as moms, we often put ourselves on the back burners because we have to take care of so many people. For one, ourselves, our child or children, however many you have, your partner, maybe your family, your like non-immediate family, like your friends. Like there's just a lot of people that you end up taking care of. And especially when you're a mom, because it feels like, I don't know, when you have a whole ass person to take care of somebody else, it's like, where is the time for myself? And I feel like there's not time, to be quite honest, but you have to make the time, especially
No,
in the
for real.
beginnings. I struggled with that so much.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and it's very easy depending on what kind of person you are. I'm also recovering. I'd like to say recovering people pleaser, but
Uh, I think I still am most times.
we're still very deep in that hole, and it's very difficult, and it's hard to learn
Hmm.
that like putting yourself first is actually a service to the other people that you take care of and the other people in your life. Like,
Yeah.
I really, really had to learn. And in the beginning, I'm glad I had some kind of like, I think this has been a big lesson in me in postpartum completely, was to learn to take care of myself in order to be able to take care of Oliver, especially. And in the beginning, I think I had an idea of what that meant, like your normal
Hmm.
self-care, make sure you take a shower, make sure you keep up with your day-to-day like normalcy, feed yourself,
Right.
shower, get dressed. Like, early postpartum is very much about just like taking care of the like your basic needs and being sure. But as motherhood has gone on and as my life has gone on, it's so much deeper than just your basic self-care.
Yeah.
And right now I'm learning that with I'm having trouble with my downstairs neighbor. They seem to hear every sound and breath we make up here and expect my toddler to levitate across the floor. I'm not sure, but I do know that I have been taking it on like it's my problem to fix. And in a way, I held responsibility. I do have a kid up here, and I am not naive to what that probably sounds like underneath me, but I also didn't build this building. At the same time, I found myself like really people pleasing this week and really like feeling all this anxious anxiety about existing in my own home. And I had to realize that like I can have sympathy for what they're going through, but also I need to take care of myself. I have to be comfortable in my home. I deserve to be comfortable in my home, and my child deserves to live in it and exist up here as well. And I have to take care of that first. I have to make sure he's comfortable first before anyone else's comfort. I have to make
Agreed.
sure I'm comfortable at home before anyone else's comfort. To an extent, he's not bouncing off the walls up here, and I have to really remind myself that like it's okay to worry about me and not worry about them downstairs in a way that's like I know what's happening up here is just everyday life, and it's not some crazy abnormal sounds, or my kid doesn't even know how to jump yet, so we're not like he's jumping off the walls or the couches or anything. So it's deeper than just taking care of your self-care. It's truly really taking care of yourself before any other problem
Yeah.
ahead, so that you have the clarity, so that you have the like emotional agility, so that you're ready to really take on that kind of issue, whatever issues at hand in life. Even if you're not a mom, taking care of yourself first is important in every scenario.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially with that one, because like I explained earlier to Danielle, like if we aren't taking care of ourselves in that situation, we tend to put our frustrations and anger and aggression towards our children. It's the easiest outlet. And I'll be honest, I've done it before, but it's
Same.
because I wasn't taking care of myself first. But because now you're stressed and you're not able to take care of yourself in your own home and not feel comfortable, it's easier for you to just lash out whenever you feel angry or frustrated. And that's why it is so important to say no. I My feelings are valid too. What I'm going through is valid too. And you take yourself and you worry about your family first, because I understand that Danielle and I are both very compassionate and empathetic people. And so, like, when she was telling me the story, I'm like, oh, well, maybe X, Y, and Z, right? Like, maybe she works all day and has a hard kid and, needs some quiet. And, like, all of that is valid too. But also, it's not Danielle's fault that the floors are very thin. It's not Danielle's
Exactly.
fault that she has a toddler. Like, all of these things are not her fault. And so, what she needs to do is just take care of her and put her oxygen mask on first so that she can pour into the people around her and herself.
Yeah, exactly. Because what you're 100% right, and it's the same thing I learned in postpartum. Like the less that my needs, and when I'm overwhelmed or anxious or overstimulated, I also like it comes out and it can feel and sound like anger.
Yeah.
And it's like I was telling you, like I found myself already kind of like not yelling, but correcting Oliver for existing, like
Hmm.
running, slow down, walk,
Yeah.
stop tapping, stop doing that. And I found myself like, because I was so anxious about the noise and not worried about him and worried about my neighbor first, I found like myself not like lashing out, not necessarily
Yeah.
lashing out in like a loud tone, but in a way where it's like I started to cry because I was like, I'm putting these limiting beliefs on my kid for just literally being a kid. Like I shouldn't tell him to stop what he's doing every 5 seconds because he's just literally being himself. Like he likes to stomp his little feet, and it's the cutest thing, but he does that when he gets really excited, and he does all these little things that I don't know what it sounds like down below me, but I do know that like I'm not going to project her issues onto my kid in a sense, and I have to take care of me and him first.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like if it's anyone's problem, it really should be the apartments. Like they need to move her or figure out something, because that's just not fair to y'all's family. Like they can't just cater to what she needs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and at
she
the end
has
of the
life
day,
too.
we all wish we lived in a house, and that's what we're working towards, and that's where we're at. And I think it's a bigger picture here, I think it's just another lesson in not only what we're talking about today and protecting my own peace without like letting in someone else's energy and issues, because I tend to take on even strangers. She's a stranger to me, but I'm taking on her issues like they're my own without even thinking about my needs or what I need out of this situation. And so it's definitely a learning process. And as you grow and as time goes on, you see how many areas of your life that you maybe might not be putting your oxygen mask on first. Like maybe you do have a good morning routine where you get up and you do the things that make you feel good, and that is what you consider putting your oxygen. But then a situation like this comes up and you're people pleasing and you're doing this and you're doing that. Like there's other ways than just your normal like self-care routine to make sure
Yeah.
your oxygen mask is on.
I agree with that. It's like setting boundaries and saying no to the things that you don't align with, saying things that you don't want to be doing. I feel like I struggle with that a lot. And especially when it comes to my family, especially like this week, right? Like I have been not really drinking lately. And when they come around, it's just have a drink, just have a drink. And I succumb to whatever they are asking me to because I feel like if I don't, we won't be able to connect as much, I guess, or and I
No, I
won't
feel that.
and obviously it's no one else's fault but me. I'm making the decision to say yes, okay, I'll have a couple drinks or whatever, right? But at the same time it's like there I am not putting myself first because I'm trying to people please what everyone wants from me. And that's another example of me not putting my oxygen mask on before other people, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and that's hard. I think we all tend to do that, especially the people closest to us. It's if you can do it, like I can do it with a stranger, I do it 10 times worse with the people around me. And
yeah.
I also went into I had this similar situation like we've talked about. I'm in the middle of a plant medicine healing process, and so I was gonna take those 90 days to not drink um
Yeah, I was going to
either.
ask you about that.
I definitely drank over the holiday. My brother showed up with his usual, and although it was very responsible drinking and
Yeah, same.
it was an overall very positive experience with everyone. It wasn't like, we had a good time. It was a couple drinks. It wasn't I don't think I ever was drunk at any point in time while
Yeah,
my
me
family
neither.
was in town. It was just a relaxing like drink here and there, but that also attests to like I went back and forth. Like at the end, I was like, yeah, it was great. It was a good time. It didn't hurt anything, but it also like, what was the purpose? What was the point? Not
Mm-hmm.
really sure again if it was really just something I needed to be doing. Obviously it's not, right? It's never needed, but
Yeah.
it's another moment where I'm learning again. This is a lesson the universe be thrown in my face left and right many times and in many different forms and fashions. But it's just another, like she said, like I didn't have to, and I went with the crowd, and what was I wasn't pressured by any means. It just
Right.
like
Yeah.
it someone can pull out a drink and have their own drink, and I'm like, oh, you
No,
twisted my
yeah.
arm.
All
Say
right.
less.
Same. Don't
And
ask me again. I'll do it.
that's pretty much how it went down. And
Yeah.
so it even though it didn't harm anything, it's just another example of where I am not putting my mask on first. I'm not doing what aligns with me first.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because it's not harming anyone if I don't have a drink, just like it's not harming anyone if I do have a drink. Like,
Yeah.
um, I'm not someone who like has some like crazy history of like every time I have a drink, it's something dramatic and bad. That's not even why I'm stopping drinking. Is that I've come to a point with drinking where I just don't understand why the need
Yeah.
for it. And that's another situation. Like I caved and didn't put my needs first, and now I'm thinking about it again when I had it off. Like, oh, I've been good all month, and I have. Technically, aside from those 2 days where I had a couple drinks, I have 30 days, and
Nice.
it feels good. And
Mm-hmm.
that is really where it's at. It's like if I just stayed in alignment with what I want to do and the things
Mm-hmm.
that make me be able to breathe better, is then I won't have to do all this mental Olympics of like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do this? It's like my own
Mm-hmm.
form of self-sabotage and like a way to keep my mind focused on things that I looping things basically.
Yeah. And I think in situations like that, which is, I just went over that in the course that I'm taking, but like when we think something is self-sabotage, we have to remember that like it's literally just our brain trying to protect us. So in that moment, we think that it's the best option for us to maybe have that drink. And maybe it is, like I said, for me, I think it's internally to feel like a connection within me and my family. So
Yeah.
like for you, maybe it's the same thing, but just try to have compassion for yourself. That was another thing I was going to lead into was I think also putting your oxygen mask on first is having compassion for yourself when you step out of alignment with the things that you want to be doing. Because if you were sitting there shaming yourself, like how are you putting yourself first? You're not, you're putting yourself last back in your head.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's definitely something that has been a learning process for me too, is to not shame. And that's
Mm-hmm.
I actually journaled about this entire thing this morning with that intention of not shaming myself and just like, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, it didn't harm anything. I'm
Yeah.
fine. And we had a good time and we had a really good holiday and I'm thankful for it. And also, I can say that like, I am the type of person sometimes that puts a lot of pressure on myself to do things in a very perfect manner. And I, this past month with that healing journey, I have done the number one goal really was to, well, to heal, but also I've been really struggling with quitting my nicotine vape.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, when I was started, I was like, oh, in order for me to do this the right way, I need to quit all these things. And it's like, I don't have to put the pressure on myself to do all these things at once. Let's pick the most important thing to me. And the most
Mm-hmm.
important thing to me was to quit the nicotine vape because that is something I have a problem with. And I feel like I'm officially 30 days in and I have no desire for it.
Proud of you.
Thank you. And
You're welcome.
so that is what I'm happy for about this month. I'm not going to cling to the things I did do or the one thing that was out of alignment in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and really focus on not shaming myself. And that is, like Dakota said, part of it too. Like probably the biggest part, honestly, is not shaming yourself for when you fall out of alignment and just celebrating what you do win and the times you do choose to put yourself first. And each time you do it, it's going to get easier. It's a practice. Each
Yep.
time you start to do it and you start to learn, and sometimes we have to like see our patterns at play and see where we're not putting our like oxygen mask on in
Yeah.
order to know how to like enhance change that, because we
Yeah.
don't know until we act it out. Sometimes like this whole neighbor thing taught me something new about myself because I've never had this kind of issue, but it's taught me something new about myself in this form and like showed me a new area that I am not putting myself first.
Yeah, a new area where I feel like unconsciously people pleasing. I
Yes.
felt like I do that a lot too. I mean, even
Yes.
with the drinking thing, right? Like, I mean, there's so many aspects though that I feel like we aren't that aware of until we start asking ourselves the tough questions. Or like Danielle, I also was judging myself, and that's the only reason why I'm like, hey, don't shame yourself, because I was going through the rabbit hole too. I'm like, why
Yeah.
did I drink? And again, I didn't like get out of hand or anything. Like it was all casual and a great time. But at the same time, I'm just like, for what? Sometimes I'm like, for what? Why did I do that? Because I feel like it didn't take me out of alignment per se, but it's just not something I want when I am in alignment. Just because I feel like for me personally, Danielle's different. I do tend to carry drama around me when I do drink. And so it's something that I want to let go of. But these past couple times have showed me that like it actually like that was just a belief I was telling myself, I think, and I was allowing all the negativity around drinking to kind of bring me down a lot of the time. But yeah, coming to a realization that I can control myself. It's just up to me to control myself, obviously, right? It's always up
Yeah.
to us. And it's also like leading with self-love and self-compassion again, because I feel like I can sit here and judge myself for having a couple drinks, or I can applaud myself for not going overboard and having a great time. Like,
Amen.
yeah, I feel like there's dualities, right? So like choose
Uh,
your battles,
Always.
choose and pick your
Yes.
battles, but at the same time, like you don't have to beat yourself up. And I feel like that's number one. Self-love, self-care is putting your oxygen mask on first, because once you love and care for yourself, then you can pour into others. And if you don't love and care for yourself, obviously you're going to treat others the way you're treating yourself internally.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes out, and I know that it comes out in different ways. I feel like obviously I learned some of these lessons before I had a baby, but motherhood has just really, really, really taught me like how important that is, because you are so
Hmm.
overwhelmed, you are so overstimulated, you are so touched out. And when you also neglect your oxygen mask, you are essentially, you're going to boil up to a point where you are taking it out in bigger ways that are bigger picture, like traumatizing, and not like, in a sense,
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our issues, we all have moments with our kids that, especially kids are a lot. But if we never learn this, and we never learn to take care of ourselves, and we're just constantly taking all of that out on our kids, they're going to grow up to do the same. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, the hard reality, if you are a parent, is that what you do to them now at this age, the younger ones, or any age really, it's going to stick. It's going to mold their little brains. It's going to be their inner voice, their inner critic, their limiting beliefs, all of it. The responsibility is heavy, and I don't mean to make it out that way, but that's just the truth. Like, if we're not putting ourselves first and taking care of ourselves, it's going to be a disservice to them,
Yeah.
to our partners, to a lot of times I'm able to,
Mm-hmm.
my biggest one is my partner. A lot of
Yeah.
times I'm able to hold it in with my child, because I get that picture, and he's such an innocent little face that, like, I know what it feels like to explode all over him, and I don't want to do that ever again. Even though I
Yeah.
know I will, even though I know it's coming, even though
Yeah.
I know as a parent, like, this is just how it is, but I do my best. But I do find that I have nothing left some days, especially the days that I do not take care of myself first. I have nothing left, no patience left for my partner. And even if I'm not even mad, I'm just overwhelmed, I take it out on him. And it doesn't do anything for our relationship. It actually harms our relationship, and it makes it hard to communicate past that, and it makes everything else harder.
Yeah.
If I just take the time to take care of myself, take care of my needs, whatever and it's different for everyone. Self-care and what your oxygen mask looks like is different for everyone. I'm not going to sit here and say that you must be doing these certain
Yeah.
habits or these
Agreed.
sort of, I don't care what you do or what it means for you. For me, I know what it looks like. I know what taking care of myself looks like, and it starts as soon as I wake up. Um, but if you're not doing these things, you're only going to make every other aspect of your life harder.
Yeah.
And it's taken me, I'm 16 months postpartum now, and it's taken me a long time to learn, like, just the, like, deepness that goes, and how vital it is. In my day, especially being a stay-at-home mom with no village, it is so incredibly vital that I take time to take care of myself, so that
Yes.
I survive it, for on the real level, so that I survive it and thrive in it, not just
Hmm.
survive, but thrive in it, and have the patience and the love and the compassion that I deserve and my son deserves.
Yeah. And your partner.
Because and my partner, yes, and Daniel,
Oh
don't
yeah.
forget about
Oh
oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's
oh yeah, that guy too. But seriously, all of it, like, it makes it so much easier, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're all gonna have our days. I'm not saying, like, he could piss me off today. I could be like yelling at my partner later today. I don't know, but I do know is that we're doing our best here, and
Yeah.
our best definitely looks like taking care of ourselves first and being selfish. It's okay to be selfish when it comes to it, because at the end of the day, I know you're not choosing you over your kids. Most of the time, you're choosing, like, your
You're
kid
good.
over
Yeah.
you. So I'm going to tell you to be a little selfish. Be selfish. I don't have to tell you to love and take care of your kid, and that kids come first. We get it. We know. If you're a mom, you get it. Be
Yeah.
selfish. Take care of you. Do you. If it means getting your nails done, get your nails done. I don't care if you're broke. Get your nails done.
Yeah. Find the
Scrounge that
money.
money
You got
together.
it. Yep.
Find the money. Go get your nails done. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen people like, oh, if you can't afford this, why you get moms deserve self-care. Moms deserve to look good, feel good, all the things. I'm sure your baby has
Amen.
diapers. I'm sure your
Hmm.
baby is taken care of. Take care of you. Take care of you, whatever it means. I've never been much of a nails girl, even though I do love having my nails done
Me
from time to
too.
time.
Hmm.
Most of the time they annoy me, and then sometimes I get
Yeah.
claustrophobic with them.
Claustrophobic. I feel that though. I feel that. I'm just like, oh, I'm ready for
Look,
these to be off.
if you get it, you get it. So that's not me. But me, I like a little retail therapy. I like to go on runs by myself. I like to stay home when my partner takes my kid to the park so that I can have alone quiet time. Sometimes I
Yeah.
like cleaning when everyone's gone so that I can actually clean in peace. Self-care looks different for everyone, and so there's no right or wrong way to do it, but putting yourself first allows you to have space to put everybody else at the same level.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I was going to touch on that too. Like, for instance, I had recently just purchased a course that was, I won't say it wasn't in budget at the time, but I felt like it's something I needed for, for myself, for self-care to feel better. And I definitely am glad that I took that option to say yes and take the course. But I remember at the time having so much mom guilt because I feel like, can we afford it? Should I even be spending this much money on me? Like we should be putting it back to the baby. But like Danielle said, if your baby has all their needs and necessities met, then like why not take care of you? Like if you can afford it, maybe it's not in budget, but you can afford it, like go for it if it's going to make you feel better. And I'm not saying make giant purchases that you cannot afford at all, but I'm saying like obviously if it is somewhat in your budget, then go for it. And I also think that like we tend to have a lot of mom guilt around purchasing things for ourselves, doing things for ourselves. And guilt is one of the lowest frequencies. So it's not negative or positive, it's not good or bad, but it is one of the lowest frequencies that we can have as people. And so when you're stuck in this like guilt mind frame, it's yet again you not putting this oxygen mask on for your first. So take that course or buy that thing and feel proud
Yeah.
about it, feel good about it, and step into that. I also feel like this can go with saying like I even sometimes have mom guilt when I'm putting on Miss Rachel way too long for my kid to be distracted so I can get the house cleaned or do some journaling or meditating. And it's like we have to step out of that because while we're trying to do something better for ourselves, we're in this low frequency energy and it's just not good for us. So step out of that. Be proud of what you're doing. It's okay if your kid watches a little TV or watches a lot of TV that day. It's
Amen.
okay. It doesn't
Everything's
mean
gonna be okay.
Literally, it doesn't mean anything about you as a parent. And if anything, I think it means more about you, actually. It means that you're a great parent for putting yourself first, that you can pour into your children and the people around you, your partner, like Danielle said. Because I too sometimes be putting my partner last. You
Yeah,
don't deserve
it's
it.
mother becoming parents is hard, and it's hard on a relationship for that reason because everything becomes your baby becomes the focal point, and that's why they say you have to like really work on your relationship. It's not because
Yeah.
y'all aren't good together or things aren't, it's because everything takes a backseat to the baby, and especially after you're still in the first year, especially that first year is like everything's just figuring out parenthood. There's no time for anything else. There's no breathing space. Well, I mean, some people have villages and that's a different story. I do not know that
Yeah.
experience, so I'm gonna take a step back and say yes, maybe it wasn't like that for you, but if you're out here with no village, there's no space for that. And
Yeah.
especially if you're a stay-at-home parent and you're one income, like your partner's at work and you're at work basically, and then everything just starts over the next day because that's how it goes. And so finding time for yourself, like she said, is hard, and for your relationship it's hard, and it comes to a point where you kind of just have to. And I feel the same way about like you with your course. I didn't
Hmm.
purchase a course, but I am taking plant medicine now to help my mindset and to kind of like aid my healing process because I have been struggling from postpartum for a while now, and the plant medicine has been really helpful. But at the same
Hmm.
time, um it's an expense, a monthly expense that
Yeah.
wasn't in financial alignment with us right in this moment. But again, it was okay, well, later when it's supposed to be later when all, and it's like, no, I need my oxygen like I cannot be the mom I want to be, I cannot be the partner I want to be until I heal from all of this in a deeper way, and I'm able to have clarity and the mental space to be that person that I know I
Yeah.
am without all this extra shit. And like for me, I had to really remind myself that the best gift I can give my son is a healthy mom.
Yeah.
It all this money that could be spent on toys, because my kids' basic needs will always be met, and they are met. But it's Christmas time, so my head is like, I could be buying decorations for Christmas, I could be buying him different Christmas gifts. I just got this, I'm going to start doing a homeschool program with him soon because he's just so smart. And
Yes.
and I was like, I could be buying the things I need, the supplies I need for this or that. And like I had to like stop myself and be like, look, just like if the plane was going down, you aren't going to teach him anything, you aren't going to save him from
Yep.
anything if you don't survive to do so.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my mental health has been. It's like it's a survival game at this point because I've just been in like a really dark place since I was pregnant. Honestly, it's been a roller coaster, and postpartum was really rough. And I'm finally in a place where I just know I need extra help. And that's okay. Matter of fact, the only gift he deserves is that his mom's here and happy and healthy. And then once I am at that place where things are a little bit more clear in my mind and the fog is lifted, then I can put all that energy and all that, like, it'll feel fun to me. It won't feel like something I have to be doing. It won't feel like a chore. It won't feel like I'm behind on something. I will have the energy, the focus, the like compassion, the patience, all of that will be a gift I can give him in this time period. Like, there's always time for him to have a better Christmas or better this or better
Yeah.
that. But like, the longer I put
Prolong.
myself on
Yep.
the back burner, the more of a childhood he's going to miss out on because I'm going to be constantly dysregulated, trying to
Hmm.
catch up with everything, trying to be this person and sit in my, honestly, a lot of it's going to be me just like overwhelmed, where
Yeah.
I could like take this time and really put myself first and just focus on his basic needs and then come out of that and be able to do so much more for him every day, instead of it just being me fighting for my life over here and never putting myself first because I'm too busy putting everyone else first, thinking it's being selfless. I think that's more selfish.
Yeah. No, seriously, I love that. And I love when you say that, you said that to me before, when you're the best gift that you can give your child is your mental health. It's
Yeah.
you to have the ability to do things like homeschool and teach them the things that they want to be learning, to be present with them. Because I feel like when when I'm on top of everything that makes me feel good and in alignment and I'm taking care of me first, I'm able to be way more present with Harper.
Yes,
I'm
100%.
I'm able to get down on the ground and play with her for a while instead of like worrying about what needs to be done. Because when my mind is clear, I know that in those moments, the only thing that really needs to be done is to take care of my baby, right? And myself. But after I'm done taking care of myself and my mind is clear, I'm able to come to terms with, look, the house isn't clean right now, but it can get done later. And
Yes.
it doesn't have to be done right now. And she needs me right now. She's crying or begging for my attention. And so right now I can get down on my knees and help with whatever she needs. And that can be done later. And I feel like a lot of the times too, in the past, I would get super frustrated when like the house wouldn't be clean, or I felt like I was doing something that needed to be done right then in that moment, but really whatever needs to be done right then and there.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing more than likely. I mean, besides your kid. I feel like your kid should be the very first thing that you take care of aside from yourself yet again. But yeah, no, I love when you say that because I feel like it was a wake up call for me whenever you told me that, because I think you got on plant medicine before I decided to take the course. But it's like 100%. Like, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we cannot pour into the people that we love. We cannot pour into our children and make them a better person because they're literally walking, talking, unconscious little minds walking around. So, whatever we're
Yes.
feeding them, they're going to go into their life after that and feed into other people. We have to be at our top and at our best in order to really guide them into a better life, which is all what we're doing here on this podcast, right? We want to be better parents in general. So you must take care of yourself first.
Yes, and it's the same thing even if you don't have kids. Like, there's a lot of ways that
Yeah.
we put ourselves on the back burner. If you are dedicated to work, you can put your career first. There's so many different avenues and ways that we tend to like put other people first and other things
Yeah.
first and other important issues. I'm not saying they're not important, just like our kids are important. Everything's important, but like, you are the most important part of any of those equations. Like, your job is will replace you. Your kids are fine. Everything, your partner, fine. But you need to take care of you in order to take care of any of those other things. And it is
Yeah.
something simple and but hard, and it's a learning process like anything else. And I think we go through different time periods where different things are your oxygen mask, right? Quote unquote. For
Yeah.
me, before I had kids, it was festivals and traveling and things like that were the needs that like refilled my soul. And now that it's shifted as a parent, it's different, and I've had to learn how what that means for me now, and the different things that that does mean. And you're going to find like times where you don't know what to do or things like that, but it does, you just learn as you go. And like,
Hmm.
ask yourself the questions you need to ask. A big one, like the other day, a good example of this and where I find a good question I'd ask myself was, I hosted Thanksgiving, so it was up to me to get like the turkey and all the like food going. And I started to feel anxious about it because I've never done it before. So I was like, do I need to buy the turkey and the ham now? It's like a week before Thanksgiving. I was like, I don't want to fight the crowds. I should just buy it now. And I had all these like mental Olympics trying to figure out how to do this and when to do it. And so I asked Daniel, should I just go buy the turkey and the ham now? And in my head, I had already like kind of like, for my own peace of mind, I should just get it done.
Yeah.
But I went and asked him, and he said, I don't know why you're rushing. We still have like a week. And because his answer was at what I wanted to hear, I got frustrated and I got mad. And I got mad at him as if he didn't just answer the question I asked him. And so I went and I was like, you know what? Fine. I won't get it. Cause he started, it was an over exaggerate, but it just shows like I was, so I went to take a shower, and in the shower, I'm like thinking about, I'm like, first, why did I just get so upset?
Yeah. I do that every time.
And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because instead of just listening to my own needs
Hmm.
and my own desires, I put it on him and then projected all my anger on him like he did anything wrong besides just answer the fucking question I asked. But to me, it was like, I didn't need to ask him that question. I didn't need to go anywhere else. What I needed to do was ask myself, what would make this easier for me? What would make me feel more at peace right now? And that would be
Yeah.
to have the damn bird and ham in my damn freezer ready to go when I need it. So I didn't have to fight the crowd. So I didn't worry about them not having one. So I didn't worry about going to different stores. None of that. All I needed in that moment for my oxygen mask was to just have the groceries already and call it a day.
Yeah.
I don't know who I was trying to please, but I do that with and it's really more of like how I do that with a lot of things. I
Yeah.
need outsource. I got to outsource what I need when I know deep down what I need already. And I don't need to like ask everyone else's opinion. I don't need to know certain things. Sometimes I just need to ask, what does Danielle want? What would make Danielle most comfortable? But that's just like the extent of how much I've had to learn, like, and how many times I've been shown how much I people please, even when no one's asking me to, even though when it doesn't even matter. It,
Yeah.
and I think the more we become aware, like, you may not even know how often you people please, but the more you become aware of it and the more you ask yourself these questions, the more you'll start to see it in like everyday life, like all these different areas that like you tend to put yourself on the back burner in small ways that you don't even realize. Like, something so significant of that, like that is like, I'm already putting myself back. Like, instead of
Hmm.
just being like, this is what I want, what would make me feel most comfortable, this is what would satisfy my needs. And then just like me getting angry, then we get angry. Now we're
Yeah.
annoyed because what? Because we didn't hold up to what we wanted
Yeah.
in the beginning. Like, but it's easy to do that, and it's easy to not even recognize that we're doing that when we are.
Yeah, I do that often too. And it's funny when you told me that story, I told that to Fred because I was like, I do this all the time with you too. Like, it'll be something as simple as like, oh, should we do this? Should we do that? Or something we actually always do. Let me give you a real example. Is you think she's hungry? Should we give her a bottle? And like, if Fred's answer is no, I always know that it's yes. I know that she wants a bottle. So why am I even asking him? Why am I suggesting that to him? Like, just go get the damn bottle and make it for her. Like, but instead, if he's like, no, and she ends up still crying, and then I go get the bottle and she wanted it, I'm like, see, you should have just got her the bottle. Like when really I should have just got her the bottle if I knew. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of the time it's about us growing up and seeking this out, like external validation. And really what we need
Yeah.
to be doing is seeking internal validation. So it's like, hey, my gut is telling me that my baby is hungry. I should just go make the bottle instead of getting mad at my partner for not listening to me because I should have listened to me. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's so valid. And I'm sure a lot of us actually go through that. I also think I experienced this with when we're feeding her or putting myself on the back burner because I'm always the one who feeds the baby and then I don't get to eat. And Fred's just scarfing down his food. And it makes me so angry. And it's not that he's not doing it intentionally. He's just not thinking about it. Right. And that's the problem. No, I'm just kidding. And, but
No, but
kind of,
really.
yeah, no, but like, and I have to have this conversation with him like, hey, can you help me feed her as well so that I'm not put on the back burner and I'm the one not able to eat every single time. And he goes, why can't we just eat first and then you feed her? And I'm like, well, he's not wrong actually, because she's not actually seeking for the food we're eating yet. She's just kind of like, we're just feeding her because we know that she needs to start eating more food. So it's like, he's not wrong. Like, here I am putting myself on the back burner for kind of no reason in a sense. And I tend to do this a lot. I'm just trying to people please my baby because I feel
Yeah.
guilty if I'm sitting there and eating and she's not. But it's not even like she cares to eat that much right now. So it would be a different situation if she did care, you know what I mean? Obviously, right? But in that situation, she really doesn't. But I feel like we also, I kind of want to make this, you know, funny, but maybe take on this dad energy because I feel like a lot of the like dads have this energy of like only worrying about themselves first. And I'm not trying to be ugly in that way. Like,
No.
they don't think about anyone else but themselves. And I question that oftentimes. I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes, like just that example, right? He feeds himself before he thinks about even giving anything to Harper. And for me, it's I'm feeding Harper without feeding myself
Yeah.
first. So like we got to take on this dad energy at times because I feel like they're on to something. They're on to something.
Yeah. Yeah. To be so chill to know that it's taken care of.
Yeah,
You don't have,
literally.
that's the other side, is they really don't have to take care of it because they know it's taken care of. But, and that's important, I think, a note to honestly make is that we as women, and especially if you're a woman with a child or a woman, you know, as a child with the child, uh, we tend to take on that role and feel like we're the ones mainly responsible to caretake.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have kids, I know that from personal past experience before I had kids is we do that a lot in a lot of different areas of life is we take on the caretaker role. We take
Yeah.
on other people, like we take on doing nurturing and all that, and then we fail to realize that it's not really our job to do that with anybody else, especially when we do that at the expense of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know as a mom, I find a lot of times I have to correct myself with Daniel because he's the dad. He's the dad. He's an equal partner in parenthood. Yet I find myself like getting the baby first or doing what you do, taking care of his food before mine, or cooking and taking care of both of them before I even eat for the
Mm-hmm.
first time in the day. And there's a lot of areas I do that, like not even thinking about it with Daniel, where I just take on this role like I need to do things instead of, and I do it in the mornings when Daniel's home. Instead of getting my routine done and letting Daniel handle the baby in the mornings, I feel the need to do it all. And
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that like I can just actually simply do what I want to do and let him handle it. I don't
Yep.
have to I don't have to make his breakfast and then tell Daniel. I To be honest, Daniel's not even the type of dad that I have to do that for. He knows. He actually gets frustrated sometimes because he's like, my simple man brain can handle this, right? He always tells me that. He'd be like, I think my simple man brain can handle it. And that's what that goes to show, like how often I, for no reason, take on all this role, like without even caring about my own self first when I have the opportunity to do so. And so if you're that kind of person, I'm also kind of a control freak. So
Yeah.
what can you do? What can you do? But I'm working on healing that, and I'm working on allowing people to help me, and I'm working on
Yep.
letting people do things for me while I do things for me. if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, do other things for me so I can take care of me and the
Yeah.
things I need that just directly relate to me. A lot of times, it's the same thing Dakota probably felt with the course and the way I felt with the plant medicine. Like, when it's something that feels like it strictly is for me, it
Mhm.
doesn't benefit anyone else. Like, it's why I haven't bought clothes, new
Yeah.
clothes in a while, because like
Preach.
that's something that's only going to benefit me, and
Yeah.
there really is no family benefit to that. And like, but at the same time, like, there is a benefit because I feel better, I look better, look good, feel good. If I Retail therapy is one of my favorite things to do. Um, it's just something that little small things like that we tend to neglect, but is a form of self-care, and it is putting your oxygen mask on first. Take care of you. Like, my kid has new clothes every 3 months because he grows out of them. I haven't bought a new shirt this for my birthday that Dakota got me.
Yeah.
um but something so simple and small like that is just where we're at, like, in a sense, like, buy yourself the shirt.
Yeah.
Even something so small, like, remember, you're important too. Your needs are important. Take care of you so that you can feel the need and feel good enough to take care of anyone else around you. And like, it doesn't matter if you're a parent or not. It just matters that, like, you're a human being. And as human beings, we all need our own shit to be taken care of first before we can really give what we want to back.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like it also goes with saying like asking for help when you need it too. If
Yes.
obviously you have people who can't help you, like or just your partner, right? Ask for help. Like, hey, I'm getting really overstimulated right now. Can you please get the laundry out of the load and fold it? Like instead of me feeling like I have to do that on top of cleaning. Like it's okay that they help too. We have to allow them
Yeah.
to help as well. Because I think a lot of the time, because my partner works, right, and I'm a stay home, I
Same.
feel like I feel bad to ask him anything else because he works all day, right? But he doesn't, and he understands that. So it's like I might as well just get out of my own way, get out of my head, and just ask for the help. And a lot of the times, I mean, he's more than willing. You know, if he's tired, he'll tell me, but like he's more than willing to do it. Like, and I think
Yeah.
I tend to not ask for help because I feel like I feel bad and I'm people pleasing yet again. So it just goes
Yeah.
around to putting yourself first. And if you need the help, ask for it. And also trusting that your partner can and will help you as well, or will do that thing. Like just trusting in your partner and other people as well can take a lot from that heaviness that you may be feeling.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, that is all I had to say to you guys. Do you have anything else you want to add, Dee?
No, I think I really enjoyed making this episode because I know it's something that is relatable to a lot of us. Again, whether you're a parent or not, but as a
Yeah.
mom, especially, I think we all tend to, it's very easy. It's just easier than it ever has been. I honored my own needs very well before I had a baby, very much so. And I think that's been also a big difference now that I have a kid that's been
Yeah.
kind of hard is I always felt like it was easy for me to be selfish, and now it's just extremely hard. It becomes something I got to think about more often. Like, and everything feels selfish now. Like, anytime I
Yeah.
take to myself, I have to remind myself that it's not, because it isn't, and you deserve it. And like I said before, the best gift we can do, and even with what we're doing, everything, the course, plant medicine, like, it is something that benefits our families. It might not be an immediate benefit, like, in terms of like they're not taking the course, they're not doing the plant medicine, they're not doing this, but how it heals you and how all that makes you feel and how that presents you to be a better human in the world for them is 100% a gift for them. And so whatever it is you're doing for self-care, or whatever it is that is your oxygen mask, like, know that at the end of the day it is for them, and it is for the people around you, and more importantly, it's for you.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
really grateful to share this space with you guys and hope you guys resonated. And if you have any questions or you guys want to let us know anything, we're always open.
Absolutely. And if you feel as if this resonated with you, please share it on your social media platforms so that we can reach other people. And of course, send it to your friends that you love and feel would benefit from this episode as well.
Yes, and we love y'all, and we thank you guys for coming back. for another episode.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.